I jolted awake. It was still dark, early morning. I was woken by a surge of nausea, and somehow the thought of that hit me like a horse kicking me in the gut. I raced, crawled, as I was feeling a bit faint, over to the toilet with my heart hammering in my chest. I sat there a while, feeling nauseous, lightheaded, tired, and yet somehow jittery. Really not looking forward to the next morning when this might happen again. Morning anxiety. Sometimes anxiety is worse first thing in the morning. We wake up and bam, anxiety symptoms. Usually the physical ones, the ones that go with panic. This can be due to the Cortisol Awakening Response, but I'll come back to that. Sometimes with anxiety, people have anxiety all through the day, and sometimes it's worst at night. But I find that for those who struggle with anxiety about physical anxiety symptoms, it tends to be worse in the morning. This can cause some people to freeze, unable to get up, dreading the day ahead and the intense feelings it may contain. For others, it's a straight up panic attack, and this can get very intense. So what causes this more intense anxiety feelings in the morning thing? It comes down to a combination of two things. Firstly, the Cortisol Awakening Response. If you go to bed worrying about how the next day is going to go, our body helpfully gets us going with a whole load of cortisol the next morning. So you've got plenty of zip in your step for facing all those threats. You're welcome. We normally have our highest cortisol levels in the morning. It's what wakes us up as our pineal gland notices light increasing during sunrise. We can also become sensitized to it, which is where the secondarily comes in. Anxiety about anxiety symptoms, or the dreaded panic cycle. This is where we misinterpret what anxiety symptoms will lead to and we panic about it. These are usually automatic assumptions rather than conscious thoughts, but they'll go something like, if this anxiety goes any higher, I'll lose my mind. Or it could be have a heart attack, or not be able to go to work, or puke in the train in front of everyone. This fear gets triggered by the high cortisol and sets off a cycle of ever-increasing symptoms that feel more and more concerning. Then you worry about it happening again the next morning, which sets you up nicely to trigger it again. Horrible cycle, I know. So what can be done about it? Okay, so there's actually a morning routine and a night routine before it. Night routine first, okay? So unless you want high adrenal activity to just keep on popping up as an issue for you, you need to reduce your adrenal baseline. I'll link a resource running you right through this below. You also want a 1 to 2 minute exercise that will help you get used to each of the adrenal symptoms your brain's become afraid of. Just one at a time, step by step, okay? Nice and easy. And lastly, you'll want all your morning worries shifted over to this slot in the evening, not too close to bed, and you'll practice a thought-challenging technique. I'll cover exactly how to do these techniques in a future episode, so subscribe and stay tuned. All up, this evening routine will only take about 12 minutes. Very doable. Now, the morning. The anxiety is going to hit you swift. You might only notice a split second between waking and feeling anxious. I want you to use this energy. Do not stay in bed. I know it can be tempting. Get straight up, toilet, and make your bed. Lovely, quick sense of accomplishment and comfortable routine. Then exercise if you can. These stress hormones are made for this. It'll use them up. Now, this is very important. Whether you exercise or not do anything else to get rid of the anxiety. It's a trap. When what you're afraid of is anxiety symptoms, the effort of trying to get rid of anxiety turns into what's called a safety behavior. Safety behaviors make you think you just saved yourself from certain doom and keep you afraid of what would have happened if you hadn't. I found if I wrote down its scheduled in worries and checking on my physical condition to the evening and carried on with my day as best I could and focused on that evening routine to reduce my anxiety instead, then my anxiety came down, and then it wasn't an issue anymore. And that's what I want for you. So if morning anxiety is something you struggle with, give this a go. And if you know anyone who's got this as their struggle, share this with them. Amazing people passing on this super helpful anxiety information is how most people find out about this stuff. So keep being awesome.